Hey everyone, so I'm going to go ahead and do my technique demonstration. Unfortunately, I had a hard time finding anybody who was available to do this with me. I have a lot of conflicting schedules with people, so I'm just going to be kind of walking you through it. So as I described in my intro video, um, um, there's the two parts: observing first, kind of taking note of how you're feeling internally and any outside factors, and then you're describing. So as we observe, we'll just kind of take in our senses. It is kind of like a grounding skill. Um, so just kind of noticing, the things that you see around. If you see people walking by, if you see um, cars, or noticing the weather, things like that. Just kind of taking it in with no judgment, no, just not labeling anything, just kind of noticing. And then we'll notice, what we hear. If we hear people talking, if we hear birds or cars, or just any sounds that you might hear. So we just sit and kind of take in what we're seeing and hearing. And if there's any smells, right now I don't really smell anything, just kind of noticing everything. Same with taste. That might not be something that you're tasting if you don't have anything in your mouth, so you might just kind of, just think about flavors that you do like. And then you can touch, feel things around, and maybe if you have a blanket or a pillow, and feel and observe just how it feels. Just letting the current experience happen without any judgments or internal dialogue going on. Just kind of taking note of the facts. So we do that for a few minutes and just kind of let ourselves take our time and just kind of embrace our senses and everything that's around. And then we'll move on to the describing part. And then we'll describe everything that we see and that we hear. You might notice any like internal feelings, the sensations you're having. You might say like, if you're having anxiety, my stomach feels very tight or something, So this is the time to kind of be aware of those physical feelings and differentiating between the physical feeling and then any judgment that you might normally associate with it, and kind of just keeping them separate. So we really want this to be a non-judgmental space, just kind of noticing how you're feeling, describing it. It also helps as you're breathing, when you're doing the observing part of it, as you're breathing, just kind of noticing your belly and your chest rising as you inhale, and then going down as you're exhaling. And then as we describe, just thinking about how that feels, bringing in the oxygen through our body, and then exhaling, and just kind of taking that minute. If you are somebody who struggles with anxiety and things, you might start noticing other tension in your body.
If you're noticing that you're, maybe your stomach hurts, or you clench your jaw, or your palms are sweaty. So those are other things that you can notice as you're observing, and then you can describe that. My palms feel sweaty, my jaw's tight, things. And so as we breathe, we kind of want to exhale and try to breathe through the tense feelings. And again, just continuing to stay mindful of being in the here and now and non-judgmental, not labeling ourselves or any outside factors. Just kind of staying present and focusing on the facts and just being mindful. Just trying to distinguish between our feelings and physical sensations. Oftentimes I think it can be very difficult to keep those things separated. So it's nice to just kind of take these different, take a couple minutes to observe everything and then describe it, and just focusing on the facts without having any added dialogue. Okay, so this is something that can really be helpful if you continue to do it, and just I think it helps become more aware of when you are maybe judging yourself, or helping your client to just focusing on the facts. I think a lot of times it can seem like something is a fact when it's not actually a fact, and we've kind of connected the dots in a way to make things seem like facts when they're not. So just taking these few minutes to kind of observe our different sensations and feelings, and then describing them, and just kind of keeping it in those parts and keeping it factual. Okay, so that's all. Thanks so much, guys.